Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com, and oh man, I've been getting some good comments, good responses, and it made me start thinking. The area that I live at is kind of wooded, and we have a plan. Now, like I've talked about plans, you get a plan and then you got to make it work, and you're going to have to make some adjustments to make it work. But if you don't have a plan, you're pretty much screwed. So you better come up with some kind of a plan and do your best to work on that plan. And so here, our wooded area, there are times as a three-man militia. We're talking three-man militia stuff, and three-man militia stuff is a whole lot different than anything else. But now I'm talking about a three-man militia sharpshooters. I'm going to call them a sharpshooter. In real life, there's more to it than that, but I'm trying to keep it simple. And we set goals, and you reach these goals, you go to the next goal, and the next goal, and the next goal, and then, okay, but to be a sharpshooter in our area, our militias, our militia members, the ones that are in the sharpshooting teams, need to be able to hit a milk jug at 125 yards, and they need to hit it at least 3 times in 5 seconds. And I've made videos talking about that. So I'm not going to get into it on this because I'll be giving away a lot of our tactics. But this is what you need to be able to do. Hit a milk jug at least 3 times in 5 seconds and then stop. And then when it's time to do it again, on command, you need to be able to hit it 3 more times in 5 seconds. And then you need to do it again. So at least 3 times in a series. And it's on command. You just don't sit there and you start your shooting in 3 months. You wait, and then somebody gives you a command. You have 5 seconds, and you have to hit that milk jug 3 times. And it's a very important thing. Now, if you can only do it once or twice, I would consider you a beginner in this sharpshooter team. I would expect you to be able to hit it like that. Now, now I'm telling you this because this is something you can wrap your mind around when you come up with all these ideas about, oh, well, this is my gun, I can kick ass with this gun, all this, I mean, people come up with all this stuff, and it's their imagination. They really don't have a plan, or they go to the range and they will shoot a target at a range, and then they think that they've done something in the way of a three-man militia. Now, maybe militias. I don't know about how militias are set up. They're kind of like wannabe military people. Well, this way the three-man militia setup is not. We're nothing like that, and we have plans for every type of situation we can get into. And this version of target practice would be a quite important thing. And now see, also we're out in the country, and so it's not range shooting. It's a little different when you've got to get in a position and on command make your shots, and then stop, and then do it again and again. And the reason it's done like that is, well, I can't really go into all that because it's part of the tactics that we're using. But the thing is, when you do it like that, you're conserving ammunition. You're just not wasting ammunition. I noticed, I see some newsreels or whatever it is about Vietnam, and you see these guys, they'll just lift their rifle above their head and start shooting over the wall or stuff like that, So now that's okay when you're in the military, because you've got ammo to burn. We don't. And also, the more shooting you do, that gives out off your position. And we don't want you to give out your position any more than we have to. And when the way we've got it set up, sometimes you will have to, and the sharpshooter and sniper scouts, they get kind of close. They're kind of close to the same thing, except for sharpshooters don't move. They pretty much stay in one place. Now, when I say one place, I mean I'm talking about in a few hundred yards. You're going to stay in pretty much in one place. You have your field of fire set up, and you will go from one place to another and this type of stuff. So you might have sandbags to shoot off of. You might have stuff like that. Unlike Sniper Scout Team. Now, Sniper Scout Team, even they're not going to be shooting much more than that. That's more complicated on that kind of stuff, but seldom where we're at anyway. They're not going to be shooting much more. There's some spots that they might shoot 500 yards, but that's going to be a rarity. And but anyway, a scout shooter team needs to have, like I say, the little garden shovel thing that they use like that, so kind of clear an area. Those little snipper things to cut the bushes out enough where they can get a shot out and stuff like that, because they'll be moving to a different area. Now the sharpshooter people, they won't be. They'll be pretty much in certain spots. There may be times when they'll have to, especially at first, they'll be having to get a good location and get it cleared out enough to do it. Put up their camouflage and they can make themselves a little more comfortable. Also, that'll be used for sentries, a place for a sentry to sit in, and this type of stuff. So, but a sharpshooting is a pretty important, and in the way of a three-man militia, and being able to hit the way that I was talking about is really, that's our goal as a minimum. You should be able to do that. And now, depending on the rifle that you're working with, you may be able to do better than that. At least you should be able to do better than that. Like I say, I've got a sniper rifle. With a sniper rifle, I can do much better than that. But like I say, an SKS should be able to do it. We're right back to ARs and stuff. They should be able to do it if, and that's probably, we're talking about how being abusive to your firearm. This is probably the least abusive position you're going to have in our the way we have the three-man militia set up. Because, like I say, you're staying in a handful of positions. You'll go from one position to another position, and so you can be a little comfy. So that's probably about the easiest in the way of firearms handling positions you're going to find. From there, it gets worse. Like I say, when you're walking, like I say, we'll have a route that everybody goes on. I say a three-man team will be on a route going around, and like I say, so their guns will be, falling on the ground. They're just going to have all kinds of things. Talking about that, it's another thing. I haven't done it in a long time, and my guns are all old. But when I first started, I was teaching close to professionals, and one of the things I used to do is not just drop my firearm on concrete. I would kind of give it a toss in the air, so it would go up maybe 8 or 10 foot and fall down on concrete, and then I would use my weapon. It was still workable. It was pretty much accurate, still accurate. At that time we weren't doing the 125 yard shooting, but I mean 50 yards I could pretty much hit whatever I wanted to in 50 yards after 8 to 10 foot drop on concrete. So my firearms, my firearms are set up to be very abusive too. And not only stuff like that, but like I say, I don't have to clean them all that often. They're low maintenance. And so these are things you need to think about if you're going to be in a sharpshooter position in a three-man militia in our area. I don't know how you're going to set up your area, but that's a good guideline to get yourself started. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.